Mr. Francy, and welcome back to Mr. Francy Reads. Today we are celebrating my February TBR, talking all the books that I plan to read in the month of February. Hashtag save the TBRs. Okay, I have a massive TBR to discuss with you all, hoping to not go for half an hour. We'll see how that goes. But before we do proceed, if you have a certain amount of books that you plan to read, whether it be 10, 13, 5, 3, or even 1, I urge you, if you are a content creator, to create a TBR video. I'm all about saving the TBRs. In fact, check out my video. Hashtag save the TBRs. Okay, everyone, let's discuss my TBR for the month of February. For those of you who don't know, TBR stands for to be read. So in any TBR video, a booktuber is talking about the books they plan to read in that time frame for me for this month, the month of February. I'm going to open up with buddy reads because I have so many buddy reads that are going on at the moment. So I like to put them at the front of my TBR video so that everyone knows what is going on. The first buddy read that I'm going to mention is the Brandon Sanderson buddy read. And for the month of February, we're going to be reading Way of Kings, which is book 1 in the Stormlight Archives, part number 2. So in January, we read the first 500 pages, and in February, we're reading the second 500 pages. So it's a long book. That's why it has been split into over the course of 2 months. The second buddy read, I'm not going to be reading that book because I've already read it, but I am going to be actively getting involved in the discussion over on the Discord. All of these buddy reads are going to have a discussion space. They have their own space over on the Discord. Link to my Discord is in the description. For the second buddy read, it is the Cassandra Clare buddy read, and in January we read Clockwork Angel. I actually liked this book. I thought it had a slow start, but I loved it once everything started to get going. In February, we're reading book 2 in this series, which is the Infernal Devices series, which is Clockwork Prince. So I am going to be reading this book, and I'm looking forward to seeing how things progress after book number 1. The third buddy read is the Hayley Powell Food and Cocktail Mystery Series. In January, there was a catch-up of books 1 and 2. These are by Lee Hollis. So it was Death of a Kitchen Diva and Death of a Country Fried Redneck. In February, everyone's going to read Death of a Coupon Clipper, book number 3, which will catch everyone up to where I'm up to. And then in March, I'll join everyone for Death of a Chocoholic. Nobody read for the Zodiac Academy. That one will begin in April, but let me tell you, I'm getting more and more excited about that. But the final buddy read, which is the Chronicles of Narnia buddy read, is beginning in February. We are opening up with book number 1 in publication order. That's the order we're going in. And that is The Magician's Nephew. So that is book number 1 in that series. So I am going to be reading both Clockwork Prince and The Magician's Nephew in the month of February. Now, let's look at all of the other books I plan to read in the month of February. So, the first book that I'm going to read in the month of February will be Clockwork Prince. I like to read my books in page count order, the longer books at the beginning and the shorter ones at the end, just to create less stress on myself psychologically, reading the long ones earlier on. So, that will be the first one. That's 501 pages long. The second book I plan to read is the book 2 in the What If It's Us series by Adam Silvera and Becky Albertalli. It is called Here's to Us. This is book 2 in this duology, so this will allow me to completely cross this series off of my SAS list. I loved book number 1. So here's a little bit of background. So in book 1, we follow 2 characters, Arthur and Bendito. Arthur has gone on a holiday to New York because he's going to intern with his mother at one of his mother's law firm. Is franchise the wrong word? I don't know. But anyway, the company his mother works for has many law firms throughout the country, and she needs to go to the New York branch, I guess is the right word, the New York branch during the holidays. So Arthur has gone with her and he's going to intern. While he is there, interning, he, during a break that he has, he need, like a lunch break or something, he needs to go and take a box of his ex-boyfriend's stuff to the post office so that it can be delivered back to him. And while he is at the post office, he meets Bendito. He does not know anything about Bendito other than the fact that they had a spark when they first met. The pair of them end up parting ways after they've met each other without leaving any sort of a way to get in touch with each other. Both of them felt that spark, and they spend a good majority of the remainder of the book trying to find each other. This is a YA LGBTIQ plus male romance that I absolutely love. That is What If It's Us. This is book number 2. So here's to us. I loved everything about What If It's Us, except for the ending, and then I realized that there was a book number 2 and the ending made sense. So I cannot wait to get into book number 2. I'm so excited. If you are looking for LGBTIQ plus male recommendations, you simply cannot, and I'm saying this after 3 years of being on booktube, you cannot go past Adam Silvera. He is a fantastic author for LGBTIQ plus male contemporary issues. He is wonderful. I cannot highly recommend Adam Silvera enough. In my opinion, over the course of the 3 years on booktube, he is the best. I highly recommend anything Adam Silvera. Okay, the next book that I plan to read is Eliza and Her Monsters by Francesca Zappia. This book is 420 pages long. It is a middle grade, I think, fantasy, but I'm looking forward to reading this one. I've been umming and ahhing about this one over the course of the 3 years on my channel. Just very quick side note, I've been on booktube for 3 years, and a lot of the books that I'm going to read this year, I have been eagerly anticipating over the course of that time, most of them for 3 years. So Eliza and Her Monsters is definitely one of them. It is a very popular and very well-known middle grade in America, but not so well-known here in Australia. So I got this one shipped out to me from the States, and I'm going to see what all of the hoopla is all about, basically. So I can't wait to get into that one. That is going to be one of my standalones for the month, because I have a goal to read at least one standalone every single month. The next book that I plan to read is going to be the start of a new series from Mr. Francy, and that is going to be book 1 in the To All the Boys I Loved Before series, which is book number 1. The series titled first book, called To All the Books, To All the Boys, To All the Books. I mean, that's a book I would write. That is a book your dear Mr. Francy would write, called To All the Books I've Loved Before. But this one is called To All the Boys I've Loved Before by Jenny Han. I don't know a lot about this. All I know is that we have this girl that we're following who writes letters to guys that she loved before, and then I think they somehow end up getting sent. I mean, that is enough for me to be intrigued. I wanted to read more romance. I separate my romances into romance, which is male-female, and LGBTIQ+, which is anything outside of male-female romance. So I wanted to read more male-female romance this year, and I know that this series is going to help me with that. And again, I've been eagerly anticipating this series for 3 years, so we'll see how we go. The next book that I plan, so that one is 384 pages long. The next book I plan to read is a standalone technically. I thought that this was part of a duology, but it is technically a standalone, and then there I think is a companion book or another standalone that was released around the same time, but either way, it is this book, Tell Me 3 Things by Julie Bobam. I believe that's how you say her name. If I'm saying it wrong, please feel free to correct me in the comments below. This is another book that I've been eagerly anticipating for 3 years. There are so many books out there. Mr. Francy, it takes him 3 years to finally read books he had anticipated 3 years ago. But anyway, leave me alone. Okay, so I am really looking forward to the other one, the other Julie Bobam book, just a moment, which is What to Say Next. I plan to read What to Say Next in March, but I thought that this was book 1 in this series, so that's why I purchased it. I do not remember a lot about what Tell Me 3 Things is about, but I'm excited to see how we go with this one, despite the fact that both of these Julie Bobam books are standalones. I'm still excited to dip my toe into it and see what it's about. Who knows? It may end up being one of my favorites of the year. You never know. Alright, so that is 352 pages long. The next book I plan to read is this book, Your Welcome Universe by Whitney Gardner. Okay. I'm gonna be as transparent as I always am in my videos. This book could end up being my most favorite book of all time. This book could end up being my absolute worst book of all time. But I am picking up this book having eagerly anticipated it for 3 years. Yes, again with this one too. Purely because of the title. The title intrigues me so much. You're welcome, universe. I need to read this. This title, it's captured my heart. So I'm going to go in completely blind and look out for those reading vlogs because they're going to be really interesting to see what I actually think once I start reading them. But that title has me so intrigued. You're welcome, universe. Why is it called that? Well, time will tell. That one is 320 pages long and it's by Whitney Gardner. The next 2 books I plan to read are the next 2 books in the Coffee House mystery series by Cleo Coyle. Bit of a heads up. I kind of went a bit too far out of my way with this series, and I am going to be slowing down on this series for the rest of the year. Initially, this series was on my to be completed SAS list, but there are so many books in this series that I've decided that I'm going to cap it off at the first 6 and then see what happens from there. It's not to say that I don't like the Coffee House Mystery series, but it is no longer in my to be completed SAS list. So I have 3 SAS lists for 2023, and the first one is to be completed. Coffee House Mystery Series is not on that list because there's too many books to get to. So I'm going to read books 5 and 6 in this series, in the month of February, but then I'm going to chill a little bit on that series and get to it when I have more time to get to that series, and will not finish it this year, but will probably prioritize it next year. So book number 5 is called Decaffeinated Corpse, which is 262 pages long, and book number 6 is French Pressed, which is 270 pages long. I have, for the most part, really enjoyed the first 4 books in this series. If you love coffee, I highly recommend it. The mystery side to me is incredibly intriguing. The cozy side is very, 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 very coffee focused, which I love, because if you're going to have a cozy side that has a passion in it, that passion to me as a reader must shine through. And Cleo Coyle, alongside her protagonist of this series, Claire Cosey, really does allow the passion of coffee to shine through. So I do recommend it on both the cozy and the mystery side, but there you go. Books 5 and 6 are the next 2 I plan to read, and then I'll take a bit of a break from Coffee House Mystery Series, which is in no way, shape or form a commentary on the series, but more a commentary on how many books there are, and I have so many other books I need to get to in order to at least reach my goal of completing the series on my first of the 3 SAS lists. Okay. Alright, you understand what I'm saying. We can move on. The next book I plan to read is a book that may surprise you, that it's been a book I wanted to read for 3 years. No, it probably isn't surprising you to this point, but this is what I mean. 2023, you guys, I did not plan this way, but it's just hit me now. 2023, the year of the 3s, is the year that Mr. Francy is deciding he's going to read books that he has been eagerly anticipating for 3 years. And this one is no exception to that. And that is this book, Amina's Voice by Hannah Khan. This book sounds fantastic. It is a very cultural book. I believe it is a middle grade. So we follow this girl whose name is Amina, who I do not remember what her background is, and I'm not going to grab the book at the moment because it's in a very precarious position. It might make a lot of other books fall. So I'm just saying she is she's growing up in America, but she's not an American. She comes from another cultural background, and this book is part of a duology. So this is book 1, and then there's, I think, Amina's Song or something is book 2. And in this series, it's about following her as she tries to not only adapt to American culture, but also try and get her American friends to understand and accept her culture. And I feel like it therefore makes it an incredibly important book to read. And as I say, I've been wanting to read it for 3 years. I'm finally getting to it, like the majority of the others on my TBR for the month of February. All right. The final book that I plan to read in the month of February is that buddy read from the Chronicles of Narnia, The Magician's Nephew, which is book number 1 of 6 from the Chronicles of Narnia, and this book is 171 pages long. And that is it. That is my entire February TBR spoken to you in 15 minutes. So let's quickly run through them one more time. First up, Clockwork Prince by Cassandra Clare. This is book number 2 in the Infernal Devices series. It is a young adult fantasy, and it is a tome 501 pages long. Book number 2, Here's to Us, which is book number 2 in the What If It's Us duology by Adam Silvera and Becky Albertalli. This is a young adult LGBTIQ plus male-male romance, and it is 462 pages long. Book number 3, Eliza and Her Monsters by Francesca Zappia. This, I believe, is a middle grade fantasy, and it is a standalone. It is 420 pages long. Book number 4 is the To All the Boys I Loved Before book by Jenny Han. This is book number 1 of 3 in the To All the Boys I Loved Before trilogy, and it is a YA romance and is 384 pages long. Book number 5 is Tell Me Three Things by Julie Bobaum. I believe this is a young adult contemporary, and it is 352 pages long. Book number 6 is Your Welcome Universe by Whitney Gardner. I'm guessing here that this is also a YA contemporary, and it is 320 pages long. Book number 7 is Decaffeinated Corpse by Cleo Coyle. This is book 5 in the Coffee House Mystery series. It is an adult cozy mystery, and it is 262 pages long. Book number 8 is French Pressed, which is book number 6 in the Coffee House Mystery series by Cleo Coyle. It is an adult cozy mystery, and it is 270 pages long. Book number 9 is Amina's Voice by Hannah Khan. This is book 1 of 2 in the Amina's Voice duology. It is, I do believe, a middle grade contemporary, and it is 208 pages long. And book number 10 is The Magician's Nephew, which is book number 1 of 6 in the Chronicles of Narnia series by C.S. Lewis, and if I'm remembering this correctly, it is a middle grade fantasy series, and it is 171 pages long. And that is the end of my TBR, and we haven't even hit the 20-minute mark. Oh, talk about reaching goals, my friends. Okay, so what books do you plan to read in the month of February? Be sure to let me know in the comments below. And if you do a February TBR, please be sure to leave the link in the comments below so that not only I can see it and subscribe to your channel if I haven't already, but so that others can see it and subscribe to your channel as well. Remember to hashtag save the TBRs. But in the meantime, that is where I am going to leave it. I hope you have an amazing 28 days of reading in the month of February. And until next time, I'm going to let you all go with peace, blessings, and so much love. Please do be kind and love one another and spread your sparkling energy all throughout the world. And until next time, happy reading. Bye, everyone.